welcome back, everyone, to another episode. We are here for another episode of everyone's favorite place to be on a Wednesday morning. Where else would you rather be on the internet on a Wednesday morning, Brandon? But right here at Practice, the show. Welcome back to another episode of everyone's favorite place to be on a Wednesday evening, Pitch Practice, the show.
We're here.
All right, are you there with me, Brandon?
I hope so this time. We already had some technical issues backstage, and I had to restart. So I'm here now. I can hear you. Hopefully you can hear me, and I sound crisp, crystal clear like butter, and all's good.
Like butter.
Bringing it back old school.
We've got an exciting episode in store for you today. Thanks for tuning in. Just want to make sure that we've got all of our socials and we are going live right now. I'm actually live inside of the Facebook group too, which is amazing. Give us a hashtag where you're watching from down in the comments. Hashtag you're watching from California, you're watching from Texas, you're watching from Louisiana, New York. We want to see it all down in the comments. You all are here. You're probably not here to see us. You're probably here to see our special guest that we have coming on today, which is amazing that we've got this guest coming on, and we do want to be respectful of his time. So I just wanted to ask you, everyone out there, let's see here. Let me make sure. Hold on 1 second. I need to just check my my social media. How are you doing today, Brandon?
I'm doing okay. Tired. It's been a long week. Got a new client, and it's onboarding week for them. So it's been fun getting everything hooked up. Being that digital plumber, as you know, sold the framework, sold some local SEO. And we're getting our guys set up online right. And I'm going to start getting some leads in here in the next, I say 30, 45 days organically, and then we're going to work on some paid ads. But super exciting. Local roofer in Piqua, Ohio.
Okay, where's that?
Yeah, just west of here. Small town on I-75.
Yes, cool. Well, let me ask you out there, what if you could become an influential content creator and make millions from your message? Is that something you would do? Say, I would. Well,
I would.
Tuned. Because today our special guest is none other than Eric Thayne, and he will show you exactly how to do just that. And if you don't know Eric, he's produced over 500 million views on social media and built multiple 8-figure businesses online. He's the guy that people like Russell Brunson, Eileen Wilder, Pedro Adao, and other big industry names go to for advice on building their personal brand and content strategy. Well, this Friday, he's hosting a free live virtual event to show you how to build yours too. He's decided to stop by Pitch Practice, the show, to share with us his pre-launch. So tag everyone you know in the comments, and let's welcome Eric Thayne.
How you guys doing?
Doing well.
Hey, doing good.
Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're looking great there.
Thanks.
So
I do things, I have a little bit of experience with video. So people always laugh when they get on a Zoom call with me because it looks like a movie basically, but not that it's necessary or even it needs to be done, but I just have fun with it and I enjoy kind of setting things up like this.
No, it definitely needs to be done. I need to do something better than this little black backdrop myself, but
We can all definitely learn something. It's your brand. I think that's what it is, and you are a. I admire your branding ability. So I don't want to really fanboy out here, but I really want you to introduce yourself to everyone and tell us, a little bit about you, who you are and how you became to be Eric Thayne, the go-to guy for all things content creation.
Well, hi everyone. My name is Eric Thayne. I'm somebody that been in the industry for quite a few years and been around the block a few times. Despite being like pretty young still, honestly. But I actually started my first business when I was 13 years old. So I got into this early in the whole online game and social media. And my first business was on MySpace. You guys remember MySpace?
Oh
So
my
Oh
gosh.
yeah, wish it
so I
was
was on
still around.
MySpace
Yeah.
actually designing t-shirts for screamo bands, and that was how I got started in the online world and in the business world really. And I was always just kind of this combination of a creative and an entrepreneur. Like always wanted to do creative things, and I was into drawing and design and art and photography and all that kind of stuff. But then also always wanted to figure out how to make money from it, right? And so
Hmm.
I got started on MySpace. I was like early on MySpace, early on Facebook, early on Instagram, early on YouTube, early like all the social media platforms, like day one. I was always into that and creating content and making it beautiful and then trying to grow my brand and creating and honestly just trying to monetize what I did. And that was really what I wanted is I would make stuff, and whether it was design or web development or app development or music or filmmaking, I would do those things and then try to figure out how do I monetize this and how do I make money from it? Because for me, the goal was always like, I just really want to do what I love and I want to make good money from it. And that was the passion. It's like, how can I figure out what I'm good at and what I like to do and then make money from it?
Hmm.
And so that was a lot of my journey growing up and through high school and through college. And then eventually got into kind of the online game, if you will, in internet marketing and selling like info products and courses and coaching. And then that was when we really built our first like really scalable business where it started to take off and we did really well with that. And throughout the whole process, like I just was always trying to help other people. I was like, I was good at certain things, certain creative things, and I was like, I can do this for people, I can do this for the people, I can do this for people. And I just went from thing to thing to thing to thing, and every time just starting over. And I would do one thing and then my interest would change, and then I would go do another thing and I would start over and start doing that thing, and then I would have I would start over and do that thing. And so if any of you that are listening are multi-passionate people that have a lot of hobbies, a lot of things you're interested in, you could probably resonate with that.
I
And
do.
so it was always just jumping from thing to thing to thing, and then eventually, got into selling the courses and everything, and that was what really took off and did really well. Until ultimately, like what happened is, we had our entire business built on Facebook ads, and Facebook, the ad costs just started going up like crazy, and we had those costs went up, and it really messed up our business, and things went down, and we actually went from seven figures in revenue to hundreds of thousands in debt, like almost overnight is what it seemed like.
Mm, mm,
And it was this crazy time where, when something like that happens, you kind of start to rethink a lot of things. Like, am I really doing what I want to do? And I was kind of burnt out in what I was doing. And the big reason why I was burnt out is because at the time I was selling courses to filmmakers.
mm,
And as much as I love filmmaking and video and cinematography, it's a passion of mine. It's only one thing, right, that I'm interested in. And there's a lot of other things about me and a lot of other things that I'm interested in as well. And I found myself really like siloing myself off into this one thing and becoming that. And I think we do that as entrepreneurs. We go, what is the thing that's going to make me money? And then what's the business I'm going to build? And then we just kind of cater our entire life to that one thing. And all these other parts of ourselves just kind of get hidden and kind of get pushed away.
mhm.
And I think that's what was happening. And as a creative, that just wasn't sitting well with me. And I felt like I was kind of in a bad place with that. And
Mhm.
so that was the time when I decided, you know what, I've been helping other businesses grow on social media. I've been helping them with music and design video, and I had produced over 500 million views for people on YouTube and doing all this stuff. But I was like, I never really built my brand, or I never really like figured out how to do this for me. And what if I didn't have to start over every single time and start from scratch and build a new thing? What if I could actually build something around me and my passions and what I'm interested in, and then have that carry with me, no matter what I do going forward? And so that was where I got into the idea of like really building my personal brand, if you will. And so I started making video content online, on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, a lot of short form video and long form video. I started creating this content and trying to make things happen. Really just centered around everything that I'm interested in. And I started talking about all of this stuff and the entrepreneurship and personal development and creativity and content and social media. And that was when things really started to take off, or really started to work, both in terms of the business, I would say, growing, and also just in terms of fulfillment for me, and actually being able to build something that I cared about, right? And yeah, it's been crazy what's happened from there. We've completely, just with organic traffic, we've completely replaced all of our ad spend, and our business is growing even more profitable now than it's ever been before, and all of that without having to spend a dime on ads. And it's just been a wild journey. So there's a quick backstory from me.
Yes. So the story that I remember, so just backstory, I think Brandon and I both saw you at Funnel Hacking Live on stage 2023. Both.
Eric, are you hearing him?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
We both got a copy of the pre-release, and I at this time was when I actually got on your email list, and I got your 60-second authority script. Yeah, genius, by the way. Thanks for that. I've been using it. The story that I remember is you being at Mastermind in Paradise. And making that decision right there that you were going to make a video every single day. And you started out making some videos right there in Paradise.
Yeah. I was at that event, and I remember that was it was kind of a pivotal moment for me, where the ads weren't working, the business wasn't working. It was a real struggle, and I was looking for another avenue, or trying to figure out, what do I do about this? And that was when I had the epiphany, like, I think I need to start creating content. I need to start building my brand, and I need to start actually doing this for me. And I started making the videos, and it was right there at the event. I went and I found a spot to shoot some videos, my very first ones. And they weren't very good, but I did them. I got them done. I made the videos. And then I started posting every day after that. And I had this challenge, this goal, that I was going to post every day for a year. I just decided, because I'd learned from Russell and other mentors, like, if you publish every day for a year, then you'll find your voice, and you'll be successful, and all these things, and you'll never have to work another day in your life. And I remember hearing those things and going, like, I believe that. I believe that, things will change, but it was hard to do. But in that moment, I didn't have another option. I didn't have another choice. Like, what I was doing wasn't working, so I had to change. So I started making the videos every single day. For the first 2 months, I actually lost followers every day making those videos. So
really,
people hated it. They weren't good. It wasn't working, right? I kept going. I didn't have another choice. I had to keep going, and so I kept going. The second 2 months, things got a little bit better, and it started to improve. I started paying attention to what videos were working, which ones weren't, and kind of modifying it. And then it was sometime around the middle of month 5 when it just skyrocketed. I got to the point where I was gaining 1,000 followers a day and reaching 500,000 to 600,000 people a month, which was just crazy to me, even those numbers, right? And I completed the challenge. 365 days. I made a video, probably, minus a few days, right? But I pretty much did it every day. And by the end of that year, I had completely revolutionized my business. Day 365, almost to the day, I was at Mastermind in Paradise again, the same event the next year. But this time I was now one of the keynote speakers, actually speaking on stage, teaching my process and my framework to people. It was the first time that I taught the 60-second framework. And then from
Mhm.
there, I came off stage and Russell was like, "That was amazing, so cool. Like, can we have you come and speak at Inner Circle?" And I went and spoke at the Inner Circle, and then he said, "Can I have you come and shoot some videos for me?" So I started shooting videos for Russell, and then he said, "Hey, can I have you come speak at FHL?" And so he spoke at FHL, and all these things happened, and that was when it was that point when I decided that I was going to write a book about it, and that's where Create Don't Capture came from. Which we'll talk about, yeah.
Yeah, and come to find out,
Nice. So during that journey,
you
how
wrote.
much of it was 100% innovative on your end versus imitation, just to put content out for 365 days?
Yeah, it was a process. It was a journey. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have anybody to tell me how to do it. I had created a lot of content for other people, and done a lot of that. But at the end of the day, I was really figuring it out step by step, and that was the goal. Was just like, I got to make a video every day, and they might not all be good, and that's fine. But like, consistency was the key. If I could stay consistent with it first, then I can figure out how to make them good. And that was the key. It was getting started, just making the videos and letting go of them having to be perfect. And then over time, through consistency, actually making them better and better. And that's what made it work.
How much would you credit that consistency with your growth? When you started out, and from the 365 straight years, 365 straight days, because I think we've all heard Russell say that if you create content or post on social media for 365 days, how important is that? How important was that for your growth?
I really think that that's almost everything. I was going to say everything, but I'm like, it's not everything, but it's almost everything. Because if you think about it, and we're not just talking about content here, we're talking about business, we're talking about doing anything with your life. Consistency is really one of the keys to being successful. In fact, they say the only way to fail is to quit, right? What is failure? What is a failure if you continue going after the failure? It's not actually a failure. It's a stepping stone. It's a learning lesson. It's an opportunity, right? And the only time a failure is actually a failure is if the failure causes you to be done, right? So if something goes wrong and you stop, then that would be considered a failure. And so really, if you think about it, the only ultimate failure is death in our life. Not to get morbid about it, but that is when the body officially fails. But depending on if you're spiritual and you believe in an afterlife, then even that is not. So what is failure? And I think that's a really good question. And a lot of people say, and that's why they say that the only way to fail is to quit. And that applies to anything. Like, you can pick anything in your life, anything that you want to do, or you want to be successful with, or you want to get out there, any message you want to put in the world. And if you will do it and do it consistently and do it for a long time, you will be successful on some level. All right. There's no way it doesn't work out. Unless you pick something like completely obscure or you're just really bad at it. But generally what happens is when you are bad at something and you do it consistently, what happens is you get better at it over time. So consistency is a lot of the equation, is what I would say. But there's another piece to it that makes the consistency work. And that is, and I think if you commit to being consistent, this other piece will happen automatically, even if you don't know what it is. It just might be a little bit slower than what I'm going to tell you right now. And so then you'll know and you'll be able to implement it, and therefore you'll be able to do it faster. And consistency paired with iteration is what I would say is the key to success, right? So consistency being you're staying consistent and you're doing it and you're committing to, I'm going to do this and I'm going to continue doing it. I'm going to do it for a long time. Paired with iteration, meaning I'm going to commit to improving at this over time as well. Because if you just make, some people are like, oh, hey, I made a video every day for 365 days or for a year, but they didn't really make a new video every day. They made the same video 365 times. You know what I'm talking about? And so if you're not learning from it, if you're not iterating from it, if you're not paying attention to what's working, what's not, how do I improve this, how do I make it better, then yeah, you're not going to see a lot of growth. But if you can be consistent, and then you compare that consistency with, I'm going to make not just a video every day, but I'm going to make a video every day that is better than yesterday's, that's where you'll see growth. What is it they say? If you make something that is 1% better every day, then by the end
What's
of a year, you'll be, what's the number? 37 times
it's
better.
Mhm.
Okay. Because
yeah.
the exponential growth that happens. And so that's the key. It's like, how can I be 1% better every single day with these videos, with my content, with my business, with everything that I do, so that by the end of a year, I can be 37 times better. And
Mm,
when it comes to content, the way you do that is very simple.
mm,
You every week, every month, you look at all of the content that you posted in the last week and last month. You look at the stats. There's metrics that show you how the videos performed, whether it's the views or the engagement, and you see which ones popped off. Okay, so typically
mm,
you'll make a bunch of videos, and let's say they're all getting 100 views, and you'll have one that gets 400 views. Like, okay, there's something there. Something about that video worked. And so you find those ones. These are what I call outliers. You find the outliers and you go, okay, what did I do in that video? How can I do more of that and less of whatever I did in these other ones? And if you'll commit to that process, like every day, every week, every month, just paying attention. This is what we do with our clients. They come
mhm,
in, they're getting 200 views on every video. We make them post for a week or two, and then we look at their content. We go, okay, this one and this one both got 400 views or 500 views. What did you do there? Now we're going to go do more of those. We're going to do more of those, and then we're going to keep experimenting with other ideas. Okay, and we go do those, and then the next week we find out, okay, which ones worked, and we go and we do more of those, and we keep doing that. And within a month or two, they've gone from 200 views per video to 2,000 views per video.
mm,
And when you can go from your entire reach of your business from 200 views a day to 2,000 views a day, that's a 10x improvement in the amount of people that are seeing you and what you do. That can, if you know how to capitalize on it, that can present a dramatic increase in your business as well. So just even that much, okay? A lot of people get really excited about going viral or getting 1 million views or whatever. In some ways, I think that going viral is kind of the worst thing that can happen to people, just because of what it does to you psychologically, and it causes people to want to chase these like views, and people start to be willing to do anything to get a ton of views, even if that
mm,
anything has nothing to do with what they do or what their business is or how they help people.
mhm,
And yeah, you can get 1 million views doing some silly stunt on social media and you'll get a ton of views, but like, is that actually growing your business? Is it actually reaching the people that you want to reach? Is it actually helping you grow the direction that you want to grow? And if it's not, then it's probably not doing much for you. So at the end of the day, yes, it's nice to understand how to go viral. It's nice to understand how to play with psychology and understand like why people share certain things, because you can use that to improve the performance of your videos. But at the end of the day, the core of what is going to make you successful is not chasing the views. It's more so, can you show up consistently and serve an audience so that you can build trust with them and build connection with them, so that the people who are interested in you and what you do will find you and will buy from you.
mm.
Nice.
I gotta get another question in real quick. Sorry, just to piggyback. I know. What was the biggest lesson that you learned from a full 360 posting 365 days worth of content? What was the biggest lesson?
I think I've learned this lesson over and over again, and it's taken me forever to get it through my head. And I think it takes a lot of people forever to get it through their heads, because you hear this and you go, that sounds good, but then doing it is a completely different beast, especially for people who are multi-passionate or who are entrepreneurs or who are, we're kind of aloof sometimes, let's be real. And it's the lesson of focus. So when I actually go back throughout my business and I think about the times when my business like really took off, when something like was really going well, it was because I focused on one thing. And I dedicated all of my attention, all of my time and energy to that one thing, whether it was one funnel or it was creating content or it was one product or one offer or something like that. When I focused in on that one thing and I didn't get distracted by everything else, I just committed to making this thing work no matter what. That's kind of a key to consistency, if you think about it, because what happens with most people is they go to an event or a conference and somebody gets on stage and says, hey, publish every day because that's what's going to grow your brand. And they go home and they post for 3 days and then they stop. right? And if that's the case, it will do nothing for you. You've just completely wasted your time because, and when people stop, it's not because they go, oh, well, doesn't work or whatever. It's because other things take priority and then they're busy and then they have other stuff. And then it's just like, this isn't really important anymore. And it's not getting me results immediately. Or it's not making me $1 million overnight. So I'm going to go try something else. And you can get stuck in this rhythm of going, like I did when I was younger, going from thing to thing to thing to thing, looking for that silver bullet, looking for the thing that's going to just blow you up overnight, looking for the thing that's going to make you famous, whatever it is. But the reality is that the people who are famous or are successful or have built big businesses, in most cases, there are exceptions, but they are the outliers. They're the exceptions, not the rule. In most cases, are people who've just been at it for a long time, a lot longer than you. And that's the case. If you can stick to something and you can focus on one thing and make that your thing and just go keep drilling it, then you can do that. Now, the reason why this became the thing that I focused on was because before I always wanted to do that. I would focus on one thing, but then I would switch into something else and then I would focus on that thing. And the problem is that's not really focusing because I'm a multi-passionate person. I had different ideas and I would get bored of one thing and then I wanted to move into the next thing. And so I started thinking, how can I build a business around me and all of my passions and all the things that I'm interested in so that I never have to do that switcheroo thing again. I can just, the focus can be on building my personal brand, being me. Okay, that's an easy thing to focus on, right? Just being me and talking about the stuff that I like to talk about and that I'm interested in and that I love to chat with people about. And then selling products related to it that is me teaching the things that I'm good at and that I know really well, which is also fun for me. And so therefore now it becomes very easy for me to focus on that because it's just native to me and who I am rather than me choosing a business and saying, I'm going to go do this thing and then get bored later.
Nice. And so with your philosophy, though, I think the first time I heard you speak at Funnel Hacking Live, there was a presentation, one or two sessions before yours that said, document, don't create. And then you came on stage and said, create, don't capture. So there's a little bit of conflicting information there during that year's session. It kind of left me a little bit skewed there. So compare your philosophy to that one, and why would yours be a little bit better than the document, don't create?
Yeah, that's actually really funny. Did somebody say that? I didn't even know that.
No, I just remembered it from the event, and it always just kind of stuck with me that there was the conflicting message there at FHL because they're usually pretty.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny because it probably sounds like my message of create, don't capture is just like the complete opposite of that, and in a way, it is in some ways, right? And but I think you have to understand, like, you've got two different people coming from two different perspectives and also probably speaking to two different people. So when whoever it was, if they were talking about, documenting, don't create, they're speaking from the perspective of, well, if you're struggling to create content, you're struggling to get out there, a really good mental model, a good framework for thinking about how to create content to make it easy for people who are just getting started is just to document your journey, right? That's what they're saying. And that's a really great idea. I recommend that to my clients as well. Like, document your journey. That is a type of content that's really easy to make. And it helps people to feel like you don't have to be like some mega expert or guru in your field before you start posting. And that's a big thing that holds people back, is that they don't want to create content because they're like, well, I'm not Tony Robbins. I'm not so-and-so. I'm not whatever. I don't have this experience. And for somebody like that, the answer is that's totally fine. Just document your journey. So instead of going out there and saying like, and acting like an expert and saying like, I have all this stuff and here's what you need to do, when you really don't have any experience yet and you're just getting started, then yeah, go document your journey. Instead, go out and say, hey, this is what I'm learning. Or I just read this book and here's a thing that I learned. Or so-and-so who is an expert said this thing and here's what it said to me. Here's the epiphany that I got from it. That's documenting your journey. And so when people get up and they say something like that, like document, don't create, that's what they mean. And that is a great principle. And that is a smart principle. In fact, I think it's smart for not even just a beginner to do, but even somebody who's more advanced to also do. You'll see people who are experts For example, let's take like Alex Hormozy, for example. Like a lot of your audience probably knows him. He still creates content documenting his journey, right? He still creates content documenting other people's journey. A lot of times he talks about Warren Buffett, right? Or other experts that he looks up to. Okay. So it's a content type that you don't only do at the beginning, but you can do at any time. And it's a really good way to take other people's ideas and to take what's going on in your life and the journey that you're on and just be sharing it with people. So that's what they mean when they say document, don't create. Now, what I mean when I say create, don't capture is regardless of what type of content you're creating or regardless of what type of business you're creating, create, don't capture is more so about putting intention into what you do. It's about what I was talking about earlier is like actually really trying to make it better. It's actually putting effort into it. Where a lot of what people do when they're creating content is they just go through the motions of, well, I just got to make a video every day and then I'm going to be successful. And so they make a video every day and they're not really trying. They're not really thinking about what am I building? What is the message I'm trying to share? What am I actually trying to do here? How am I trying to impact people? How am I helping them? What products do I have? They're not thinking about any of that. They're just like, I'm just going to make a video every day because they said to. That's capturing. Okay. And so the goal is not really the type of content, which I think the document, don't create conversation is about different types of content. The conversation here is more around the intention that is put into the content. Are you creating content just because somebody said that you should, and you're hoping that, you know, maybe something will happen because of it? Or are you doing it because you're a creator, you have a message, you have a business, you have an impact you want to make, and you have something you want to do in the world? And that really, to me, is the difference between creating versus capturing.
Makes sense. Makes sense. It's communicating in a way that will get people's attention, to get them to know you, like you, and trust you. I saw you break that down at Funnel Hacking Live a couple weeks ago, and I saw you do that so effortlessly. That was amazing to me. How you I think I only had a few moments to watch you there, but you broke down this framework where you said idea, platform, and format. Do you remember that?
Yep.
And it was a simple process on how to make just all this different type of content. Do you remember that? Tell us.
Yeah, I'll tell you about it. So this is kind of a little bit more advanced strategy. So it depends on where you're at in your, you know, for people who are just trying to get started making content, like I highly recommend picking one platform and then mastering that one platform. So think about, you know, where your target market is, or what type of content you like to consume, or what type of content you like to create. If it's video content, maybe you do short form video or long form video. If it's written content, maybe it's tweets or it's LinkedIn or something like that. So pick the platform that's going to work for you, that makes sense for who you are and what you do, and then go all in on that platform and just drill it. Okay, until you know it, and you know it really well, and you know the culture, and you know how to write, and you know how to figure it out, and you know how to grow on it, and you're iterating and you're making content better and better. That's what I did with Instagram. That's why Instagram is kind of my main platform. Is I went all in on Instagram and grew that one, and then from there I started kind of repurposing to other platforms. Now, here's the way I think about repurposing, right? When you get to the point where you've mastered one platform and now you're trying to expand your reach, okay? Because that's the goal, is like, if you're going to post something on one platform, you might as well put it on other platforms too, because there are other people over there that are not over here. And so you're going to reach more people from that. Most creators have a single platform that's their main platform. That's totally normal. So don't worry about that. But it is always a good idea to kind of cross promote. So the way that you do that, and the way that I always think about it, is this. The mistake that a lot of people make is that they take one piece of content and they just copy and paste it across every platform. The problem with that is that not every piece of content makes sense on every platform. Okay, so you might take, for example, let's say a short form video, like a reel, okay, and you might take that and put it on TikTok and YouTube Shorts and Instagram, right? That can work across those three platforms. But putting a short form video like that on Twitter, for example, even though, I mean, Twitter just added a video tab like just recently, so it's like kind of more of a thing now. But that type of content, like a talking head video, short form video on Twitter, like doesn't make sense in that culture. It doesn't feel
Mhm.
native on that platform. Nobody does that over there. It's not common at all. And so if you're just to post that there, it's not going to get traction on that platform. It's just not. It's not what people are looking for. And so you have to know the different platforms. And so how do you take one idea or one piece of content and actually turn it into other things without having to spend all day, every day creating a piece of content for every platform that feels native on that platform? Because we don't want to have to do that either.
Mhm.
And the answer is this. And the way that I look at it is going from idea to format to platform. So it starts with an idea. Okay. A piece of content starts with an idea of this is an idea that I want to share with people. And for me, typically those ideas go into my newsletter first. Okay. So I have a
Oh
weekly
yeah,
newsletter that I send. And I'll
great newsletter, by the way.
thank you. So I send out that weekly newsletter, and that's where I think like, what am I learning right now? What would be valuable to people right now? What could I talk about? What could I share about that would be interesting to people? And that's where I write down a deep dive on that idea, right? And so I get that really clear, that idea, and then from there I go, okay, now that I've got this idea and I've got it fully fleshed out, how many different formats could I turn this into? So you're going to repurpose ideas, not content, meaning I'm going to take that one idea and I'm going to turn it into as many formats. So it started as a newsletter, but I could also take that idea, I could turn it into 2 or 3 short form videos. I could turn it into a YouTube video. It could be an outline for a YouTube video, which could also be a podcast, by the way. I can make, so I said short form videos. I could turn that into a
Mhm.
long tweet thread. I could turn it into various short tweets, and I could make it into probably a nice like LinkedIn post or Facebook post as well. So what I'm doing there is I'm taking one idea and I'm turning it into, how many was that? Like 8 or 9 different
Yeah.
formats. And now once those formats are done, then I think, what platforms can this format go on? So if it's a newsletter, it's just going to go to my newsletter and go on my blog, right? If it's a long form video, it's going to go on YouTube. If it's a short form video, it's going to go on LinkedIn, or it's going to go on, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts. If it's a tweet thread, it's going to go on X, Twitter, and Threads. If it's a long form
Mhm.
post with an image, it's going to go on LinkedIn and Facebook. Okay, you see how that
LinkedIn and
works?
Facebook.
So
Mhm.
now that's how you can take one idea and you can turn it into 10 to 15 different pieces of content, because we didn't try to come up with 15 different ideas or 15 different pieces of content. We came up with one idea, turned it into 8 formats, and then each of those formats was able to go across 2 different platforms on average, right? So now you have 16 pieces of content. And now the trick here is that you take that content and you just schedule it out over a month. So it's not
Mm.
all coming out on the same day, right? You schedule it all out. So now you have that topic, and then what do you do the next week? You come up with a new idea. And then you schedule out all that content, and then you come up with a new idea and you schedule out all that content. And now suddenly you've got content going on every single platform consistently, almost every single day, new ideas. And people go, how do you come up with all this stuff? That is insane, right? And so that's
Yeah,
the trick.
that's cool. That's cool. So sounds like the newsletter is where really the start of it comes from, right? You're
For
going
me,
deep. Okay.
a lot of
Okay.
times it is. I do like writing newsletters. Other people, it might be different though. Maybe you're YouTube first, and you're just like, you have a YouTube channel, like you guys have this show. Maybe this show is the beginning of it, and then you turn that into different types of different formats. There's different ways to do it. Some people, if you're just like very, TikTok first, maybe you just make ideas for TikTok, and then you watch and you see which ones take off. Oh, that one took off. I'm going to take that idea and I'm going to go and turn it into a newsletter and a tweet thread and a LinkedIn post and all these kind of things, because you know that hook works. And so there's different ways to do it, but generally, if you can start with like a short form format like tweets or a short form video and everything, it allows you to iterate more quickly and test ideas more quickly to see what's working for people, what people are resonating with. And then when they do resonate with one and it does take off, then you go and you say, this is the one I'm going to now repurpose and put across all the platforms.
So how are you balancing quality versus quantity when it comes to the content? I know you just kind of went on taking the one idea and then just putting it, I would say recycling it, but repurposing it for the specific platforms. Does it become too much and seem diluted when you do that? Or is that really a fantastic strategy to not have to constantly have to try to come up with a video idea and sit and record and take all that time?
Yeah. So you're talking about the repurposing strategy?
A little bit with that, and just, you made a video for 365 days. I mean, that's a lot of content, right? And so when does it, come into play of quality content versus the quantity of the content.
So anymore these days, I don't often recommend posting a video every day anymore. There was a time, a few years ago when I was doing this where Reels and TikToks were like really hot, and like Instagram and YouTube and Facebook, and they were all trying to compete with TikTok because TikTok just kind of came out of nowhere. And so they're all trying to compete, and they started pushing Reels really hard. And so then the strategy was like, make as many Reels as you possibly can because they're going to push them. And there was a while where that worked, and that was great. But nowadays, it really is, if you look at the general social media landscape, and this is the stuff that you won't hear from most social media managers because they're still teaching strategies from 2 years ago. If you look at the general landscape right now, it's not a quantity game. It's very much a quality game. And there's a line in my book, actually, where I say that, how does it go? Quality is better than quantity, but quantity leads to quality, and quantity is the best, right? So meaning that, yes, you want to be quality over quantity, but in order to get to quality, it takes a lot of like at-bats and trying things out to see what people want and people resonate with. It takes a lot of at-bats for you to get comfortable on camera for your videos to suddenly become good. It takes time and it takes quantity to be able to get to a point where you're making good quality. And so at first, yes, it is kind of a quantity game. It's just getting ideas out there. It's trying it out. It's experimenting and seeing what's working. Like I talked about earlier, it's paying attention to like, oh, these ones worked. I'm going to try more of those. And it's just a lot of that until you figure out what the quality is. And then at that point, when you really start to understand what quality means for you and for your audience, which is going to be different for different industries and different types of people, the type of content that works, when you figure that out, then it's like lean heavily into what works and put more effort into it. Because ultimately, I mean, people get really obsessed with like posting every day. But if your mission to be consistent and to post every single day is causing you to not have time or resources to be able to make quality content, you're probably shooting yourself in the foot. And so it would be better to maybe post 3 times a week or 5 times a week and really focus on making the content good, because one good video, think about it this way. One really good video that just pops off, that goes mega viral, let's say, right? One really good video could get more views than 5 years worth of daily posts. Think about that. Could. I think it will. But if you focus on that and rather go, oh, maybe the opportunity isn't in just, the commitment isn't just I need to get a video out every day. It's more so what's important is, yes, I want to stay consistent, but I also want to make sure that I'm making my content better and better and better all the time, so that I can find more videos that are really going to work, because those videos, those single videos that take off, will get more views. And generally, if you get 1 million views, that might be more than you get in 6 months of posting or a year of posting every day when the videos aren't good. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
Awesome. I want to talk about content creation and the future. And come to find out that you wrote that book. I don't know, was it 4 months or was it 3 weeks?
The writing process was 3 weeks, actually, which I do not recommend to anybody. That was crazy. It was terrible 3 weeks. But then I had to go into editing and design and printing and everything like that. So it took a few months to get it done.
And in that, I want to get into content creation, but I also wanted to ask you a viewer's question. So we did ask some of our viewers what they would like to ask you, and I did want to pull up one question from one of our viewers, from Nin Den. Hey Nin, what's up?
Hey Nin.
And she wants to know, what inspired you to take the time to really refine the book when it could have been released as is? And that's her question. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. It's a great question. So if you guys know, I wrote the book about 1.5 years ago, and I the initial book, got it done, and a part of the rush to get it done was because I was going to be speaking at FHL at this event, and I wanted to be able to give it to everybody there. Yeah, we got a couple copies there, right? So I wanted to be able to share it with everybody, and I wanted to be able to put one on every chair. I was like, this is the time. I had the idea. I was like, I already knew I was going to write a book, but then when I got asked to speak, I was like, you know what? I think I just need to do it now. And so I did it. We got it done really quickly, and the book was, I would say, like 90% done. It was a really good book. I was very proud of it, but not, when you're a creator, you're kind of always balancing this desire to really create something and this also desire to not fall into the trap of perfectionism, right? Because at some point, things just have to ship and they have to be done. And I did that, and I got the book out there, and it was the best thing that I could have done. But then I still wanted to spend some more time working on it. And so I did. I kept working on it, kept tweaking it, kept trying to, make this book even better. Because, they say done is better than perfect. But when you're a creator, sometimes you just know that something that you're making has to be better than just done, right? And so it's like if done is not good enough, can there be a healthy balance between done and perfect, right? And I think that's the place to operate. And so I started working on it. I kept tweaking and changing some of the things in it. I added about 5,000 new words to it, added new graphics and doodles. So it's like it's the same book, same principles, but this is kind of like a second edition, if you will, except it's actually like the first edition. So the original copy was the ones you have is an advanced reader copy, right? It was for getting feedback from people, and we got a lot of feedback, and we applied all that feedback and made it better. And now it's like the official one that is actually coming out now. And that was the reason why I took the time, and I wanted to make it good. We also ran into some roadblocks, completely transparently. Like there was just a lot that I tried to do with it that wasn't working, and different suppliers and stuff like that. Things that get in the way of trying to create something. And then, but ultimately, we got through all of it. We figured it all out, and now we're finally going to launch the official version of it. And at the launch event this Friday, we're doing something very unique and different and special with it. So I'm not going to tell you what that is. You have to be there in order to see it. But I did want to really lean into the principle of this book, which is create, don't capture. And we were not just going to do like a typical, like, oh, hey, go get the book on Amazon for $20. It's not one of those. It's a little bit more special, I will say, than that. And so you have to be there on Friday so you can see what's going to happen, but it'll be a lot of fun.
Yes. How to be an influential creator and make millions from your message is the exclusive live virtual event happening this Friday, March the 14th at is it 2 p.m. Mountain?
Noon Mountain Time. Yep. It'll be 2 hours. It'll be a 2-hour virtual event. I'm gonna be talking through my framework and my story, and we're gonna be going deep on really what it means to be a creator, how to be a creator. And what I mean by that, by the way, is not necessarily a content creator or like an artist or a photographer or whatever. Like sometimes people get that word creativity mixed up with like artists, right? When in reality, we're all creative in some ways, and we're all creators. A lot of times, in entrepreneurship, we talk about innovation, right? Innovation and entrepreneurship. What is innovation except creativity? It just in entrepreneurship, just applied to a different field. And so that's what I'm talking about. When I talk about creativity, I'm talking about innovation. I'm talking about doing something unique and building something with your message. And so we're going to talk about that. If you're the type of person who either you're an entrepreneur, you have a business that you're running and you're trying to get more attention for it, and you want to get it out there and get more people to know who you are and what you do. Or if you're a creator and somebody who likes to create something, but you're trying to figure out how to monetize it and how to make money from what you do. Or if you're neither of the above, if you're just somebody who says, you know what, I have something to share with people. There's something that I would like to talk about. I would like to find an audience of people who are also interested in that thing and connect with that tribe, and potentially in the future, turn that into a profitable business, then this event is for you. And that's what we're going to be talking about, is how to do that. My framework that I go through for thinking about how to become a creator, how to build an audience of raving fans, and then how to grow a business from it and monetize it. And so we're going to do that at the end of the event. We're also going to launch the book, and the people at the event will have the opportunity to get their hands on one of the very first special copies, which I'll tell you more about there. But yeah, that's what's happening, and we're really excited to have everybody there and to make it happen.
Nice. You know, as you're talking about the future of, you know, being creative and things like that, I don't know if Mark had briefly touched on AI because I still can't hear him, but how is the AI and automation, you know, going to be playing a role in the future of being creative as a human?
Yeah. If you look at what's going on with AI, I think this is so important to understand. And the reality is that 99.9999999% of people do not understand what is happening in the world right now. And a lot of it is happening in industries where you may not be plugged into or you may not understand, but there is a massive amount of dramatic change happening very quickly within the AI industry. And it is exponentially growing, and it's almost scary. It's almost hard to keep up with it. But the most important thing that people need to keep in mind right now is the difference between, there's basically two camps in AI. And there are the people who think that they're going to get replaced by AI, and there are people that think that they're going to get augmented by AI. And the difference between these two groups of people is that the people who think they're going to get replaced are probably going to get replaced. The people who think they're going to get augmented are probably going to get augmented, right? Because it all comes down to your mindset and how you're thinking about it. Okay. If you're thinking about it as, well, shoot, AI is taking over, there's nothing I can do, I'm stuck, then you're probably going to get replaced. If you're the type of person who's going, how can I capitalize on this? How can I take advantage of this? How can I build something with this? Then you're using it to augment yourself. Now, when I say augment, what I mean is like, well, I mean, everybody's familiar with ChatGPT, right? Or most people are. If you're going out there and you're using AI, like you're creating content or you're building a business, you're building offers, you're building stuff, like imagine using those AI tools to help you to create those things faster, to make them better than you could otherwise, and to make them and even come up with ideas that you wouldn't have come up with on your own. The cool thing about that is and the important thing is that you're not just going to ChatGPT and saying, hey, make me a course, and then trying to sell that to people. Okay. You're going to struggle with that. Like that ship has sailed already, right? Because it's generic and it's just not going to be the same. But if you can be the creator, okay, this is where I think being a creator is so important, meaning that the AI needs somebody to prompt it. It needs somebody to direct it. It needs somebody with a vision. It needs somebody with an idea. It needs somebody that knows what to do and how to do it, and to use the AI to help them to achieve that vision. Otherwise, whatever comes out will be generic. And so the greatest opportunity right now, whether it's in content creation or business or whatever online, is in using those AI tools to augment yourself so that you can create faster, so that you can create better, and so that you can ultimately grow even faster. And so on Friday, we're going to be talking a little bit about how to do that, specifically for content creation and growing your business online, because this is an industry that I'm very plugged into. I know a lot of entrepreneurs aren't really aware of what's going on, but like I'm plugged into it because my background is somewhat in web development and technology and these kind of things. And so it's kind of native for me, but I've been studying it a lot and using it a lot. And I'm going to be sharing with you guys what I've been doing and how to do it.
All right. Alyssa says that I hope AI will replace me someday so I can sleep.
I actually love that. I do think that, you know, we don't need to get into this, but that's kind of like the end game of AI. If you think about it, like it only goes a few directions. And one of those directions is that, well, if robots and AI really does take over everything, then all there will be left for us to do, like we won't have work anymore, right? We won't need to work anymore. All that will be left for us to do is to, you know, be social and have families and live our lives and go do things and sleep, honestly. So it's kind of great if you think about it.
Great. I think that one of the points that you should be hitting on is how to make AI your competitive edge instead of letting it replace you.
Yep. Yeah, we'll be talking about that on Friday.
Awesome. Oh, okay. Brandon, if you don't have any more questions, I maybe we could take one more viewer's question. Just
That's it.
one more viewer's question. And it has to do with a WTF Cybertruck.
What's the question?
No. Oh, that was my question, but
Oh, that was your question. Got it.
that was my question, but I did want to ask this question from Tracy Kelly, aka your funnel girl. She wanted to know, how has video marketing evolved over the past few years, and where do you see it heading next? And I just like what one thing that I really took away from Funnel Hacking Live is, I've kind of been on the fence about, going all in and focusing in on content creation. But I see that content creation, and I've seen you kind of allude to that in your posts recently about it being the future of work. So I think that's a little bit of where her question is coming from, about how do you see content creation and the future of work in the 5 to 10 years from now, or where do you see it heading?
Yeah, it's an interesting discussion, and I will say that, this event on Friday, that's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to talk about, here's what's coming, here's how to prepare yourself for it. And it's interesting to think about like what a creator is, and even what a content creator is, because it used to be that a content creator was, just somebody who was just making videos on the internet. But nowadays it's like people are building full-blown businesses. In fact, people are all predicting right now who will be the next billionaire. And for a lot of the expectation is that there's going to be, at some point, there's going to be, maybe it's like a Mr. Beast, or there's going to be somebody who's a creator who's going to become a billionaire. And it'll be this big, it'll be a big deal, because like where this used to be something that was just like for artsy people to make videos on the internet, it's now actually becoming like a viable source of work and business and making things happen. And if you look at the younger generations today, they all want to be content creators. They all want to be creators. They all want to put something out there. And so imagine a world. This is the way I like to think about it. Is if that's becoming more and more commonplace, meaning people wanting to share their message, which I think actually is inside of everybody. Everybody wants to be useful to the world. Everybody wants to have something to say. And if you pair that with the fact that the tools to do that are just becoming easier and easier and more accessible, so you don't have to have a film studio anymore. You just have one in your pocket. If you follow that trend, towards the end, there's a tweet from Naval Ravikant who said, what do you say? There's in the world there's 8 billion creators, or there's 8 billion monopolies, right? Like literally every person on the planet can be a creator, can be a person who has a message, who has something that they're good at, who has a passion, who has an art, a craft, who has a combination of skills and talents and beliefs and values that all come together to create a person, a creator, who is going to attract a certain tribe, a certain group of other people who are also creators, who have their own tribe, and that creator is going to work with those people. And it's kind of an interesting way of thinking about it, in terms of like, what would happen if everybody in the world saw themselves as a creator?
Mhm.
And this is the way, I don't think that we're going to get to that point, right? Like, because not everybody's going to want to, so it's not going to happen. But I do think that that's kind of the future, right? And that's why I say that it's the future of work. This is the opportunity to put something out there and to make money, regardless of who you are. You don't have to be somebody. You don't have to be anything crazy. You just need to show up and provide value every single day, and you can build something meaningful out of it. And that's what's really fascinating to me. And we're going to see that augmented with AI, and the opportunity to, right now, the opportunity is to produce more and to produce better, right? But at some point, the world's going to fill up with so much content or so much output, right? Because when I say content in this case, I'm not just talking about social media content. I'm talking your business is, output, whatever you're putting into the world, whatever you're creating. Okay. For some people, it's an art. For other people, it's a business. For some people, it's content. Whatever you're creating, the amount of that and the amount of stuff in the world is going to be large, because so many people are augmented now to be able to create it. And then we're going to get to a point where, and like we were talking about earlier, where the AI really takes over doing all of it. And then all that's left in the world is for us to create. And so therefore, that's why I believe that if you really want to have a future in the world, the key is seeing yourself as a creator.
Well said. I am a content creator. I am. Are you, Brandon?
Mark, I'm going to apologize, man. I still can't hear what you're saying there, but this has been absolutely amazing. Eric, we appreciate you so much for coming on to the show. If there was one key takeaway that somebody should have picked up from this episode, what do you think it should be?
You asking me?
Yep.
Well, come to the event on Friday and I'll show you.
All right.
Because at the end of the day, my mission is for people to, I always say that my mission is to amplify positive voices in the world. And that's really what it is all about to me. It's like there's how the business plays into that, and there's how the content plays into that, and how the other things play into that. But at the end of the day, that's what it's all about is, are you showing up in the world every day, and are you being a creator? Are you producing? Are you adding to the world versus simply taking away from it? And I think there's a lot of people in our world today who just show up and go through the motions and are simply capturing, and they're just taking from the world and not really thinking about how they can add to it. And ultimately that's the end goal, is that like, if I can get everybody to believe in themselves as a creator and to put something out there, then that's going to make the world a better place. And so, how you do that, some of the tactics and stuff we'll be talking about on Friday, but at the end of the day, that's the goal, is just showing up and putting yourself out there every day and creating.
Perfect. All right, Mike, take us home, Mark.
Perfect. And the QR code is right here to sign up to join the Creator Revolution. I'm there. I'm signed up. You should sign up too. You don't want to miss this one. Eric, it's been amazing. It's been fantastic. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule. Congratulations on Congratulations on the new book. I can't wait to get my hands on a copy. Excellent work. Seeing you, Funnel Hacking Live. I saw your presentation at Funnel Hacking Live International. Congratulations on the most WTF Cybertruck, and also blessings to you and your family as well. Thanks for spending an hour with us here, and everyone is appreciative.
Thank you. My honor to be on, and I appreciate you having me on and letting me talk about this. So let's all get it together. Let's go.
All right. See you on Friday.
All right. We'll see you.
We'll see you later.
Take care.
See you on Friday. Thanks for tuning in.